Hello everyone, how are you? My name is Esteban Gonzalez, veterinarian and feline expert. Today we are going to talk about a super important topic, and it is the arrival of a kitten at home. The first thing we have to take into account when we choose a kitten pet for the question is, what do we need for when the fat boy or girl comes home? The first and most important thing is where are we going to serve the food, and what food are we going to give him. It is important that we take into account that many times it is recommended that the dishes be shared, that a certain type of food, that the dish be made of some material, but the most important of all this is first that we have a food that is clearly oriented for kittens. Secondly, the dishes should be separate from each other, they should not be dishes together. It doesn't mean that if they are together it is wrong, but ideally they should be separate dishes. The other thing we should do is try to avoid as much as possible that the dishes are far from the litter. The kitten eats at disposal all day long. Another very important thing is the litter and the litter box. The sand should be specialized for cats, in which they can cover, and that is agglomerating, which means that the fecal matter and the urine are compacted. And the other thing, while they are puppies we should avoid sand that has a lot of aroma. Another super important thing, also depending on the breed and the type of kitten, if it is we clearly need brushes and combs to be able to maintain their fur. The other and supremely important thing is the litters and a place where they are going to be quiet at home. This for now is one of the most important things we should take into account to bring a kitten home. Another important question that we are asked when we are going to take a kitten home is if it is better female or male. This is a topic that nowadays is not discussed much because if it is female or male, as the idea is that they arrive neutered to the house, it is indifferent. The kittens and kittens do not have many differences with respect to their personality being female or male. It is important to keep in mind that cats are one more member of the family that will consume and will occupy a space. Before having a kitten you have to evaluate this type of things. The other thing is the sanitary issue. They should always receive vaccinations and deworming before coming home, and as soon as they arrive home continue with these vaccinations to complete the vaccination and deworming schedule while they are kittens and later on when they are adult cats. To complement the feeding issue, clearly it has to be a food indicated for kittens and a food that in first instance can be the balanced and concentrated food. There are other feeding alternatives such as the natural diet or the diets that today in puppies are called barf, which in cats are natural diets and of protein origin. None of the foods have contraindications. What we do have to do is always to choose a food that is directed or clearly indicated by a nutritionist, veterinarian, or that is of a commercial house or of a recognized brand. Initially so that the kittens can develop and take advantage of all the nutrients of the concentrated food. Another important thing that I get asked a lot is at what age should a kitten go home? Cats in the first instance have to spend a period with their mother. As far as possible, it is from the day they are born more or less until 2.5–3 months, which is known as weaning. Once this happens, it is time to begin with the sanitary plan of the kittens, that is their deworming and their first vaccination, and in that moment it is just when we are going to deliver them to the new homes or when we are going to take them to the new house. This avoids a lot of things. Clearly breastfeeding makes the immunology of the kittens a little more optimal, and besides that we have more play time with the siblings and with the mother that will make them develop more clearly and have a better behavior. Another frequent question is, if I have a cat already at home or a puppy already at home, socialization is extremely important with kittens that are going to arrive at home if there is already another pet, be it a cat or a dog. When there are kittens already native or inhabitants of the house, the introduction is a little less strong unless the cat that lives in the house is a little more territorial, but it is not impossible. They will always manage to tolerate each other, or they will manage to be very good friends. In fact, the indication is always better to have two cats than one, because between the two kittens they have fun with each other, they distract each other, and apart from that, when we have to leave the house we will not be with the anguish that the cat is alone, that something could have happened to him, what is he doing alone, but that he is simply with his brother and they are enjoying it. Another extremely important thing is when I am asked if it is better to buy or adopt. This is a subject more to personal criteria. If we are going to adopt, clearly it is a very nice work, it is to give a chance to a kitten that does not have a home. But if we have to take into account that the place where we are adopting or the person we are going to adopt, is a place or a responsible person who is initially in charge, that the baby kittens are seen by a veterinarian, that they have been checked, if necessary that they have been vaccinated and dewormed. In the same way with catteries, we must look for catteries that are really responsible. The difference between a cattery cat and a purebred cat is simply the origin, there is no difference apart from the breeds. When we are looking for a kitten of a specific breed, it is important that we look for it in a cattery that is recognized, registered, or linked to a club or association. This will guarantee us many things. First of all, that these cats do not have genetic diseases, because the majority of responsible and registered catteries are based on responsible breeding, that is to determine that these kittens do not develop diseases of genetic origin. Another guarantee to buy kittens is if you like some color, type of hair or type of breed. Clearly the easiest way to get it is this way, but then clearly coming to a responsible cattery. On the adoption side, clearly we are always going to make a little more force to the adoption, because they are kittens that have no home, and in one way or another you are going to give them a great opportunity. Regarding the resources that we should have for a cat to be happy at home, the first thing is to locate the space where the food, the litter box, the toys, the gym, and where the people will be. In the first instance, cats are resource protectors, and just as we have our sofa, our bed, for them this should also be so. To prevent the kittens from damaging things or going to places we don't want them to go, which is almost impossible, but if we want to try, it is important to provide them with enough resources. The first thing is the dish, what we had already talked about, separate dishes, and the concentrated or dry food separated from the wet and separated from the water, that are far away from where the bathroom or the litter box and the sand is located. The latter clearly in a private place, away from washing machines and places that sound very hard, because that is where we begin to have problems of inadequate elimination, urine or fecal matter, because the cat is afraid to climb into the washing machine to pee or poop or look in that place that is very alien to him. The other thing is also that this place cannot be a place of much traffic, because clearly they also need their privacy to be able to go to the bathroom. Another super important item for them is the scratching gym, which is where they are going to scratch, develop and sharpen their nails. More than this, what they are doing is marking their things. Clearly when the kitten comes home, nothing smells like him, everything smells like the family, but the cat will be where he smells like the whole family. So when we have these items like the gym, the bed, or the mattress, let's try to place clothes of ours that we can put near or on top of the gym and the bed, so that they become items of theirs or of the house itself. In this way we also give him or her something that is unique and exclusively for him or her, so the cat will avoid locating, scratching, or scratching things that are not his or hers. There is another super important issue within the recommendations regarding feeding and drinking water. Cats by natural development and their species are desert animals. However, by the technology of the concentrates they would have to drink a little more water than normal. This water should be available in many places in the house. Many times cats like running water. Then there are many options such as electric water fountains with filters that will stimulate them to drink much more water and avoid urogenital or urinary problems, derived from that little water they drink, because naturally cats do not drink so much. Finally, we are going to give you 5 tips with which you will enjoy your kitten and live together much better. First, whether it is female or male, the most important thing for a kitten is that it has a space in the family and in your hearts. It is very important that when we are going to take a kitten home, we all agree that the kitten will go home. The second tip is that no matter what happens, we will never consult with a person other than a feline expert or a veterinarian because it can jeopardize the health of your kitten. Tip number 3, if the cat has to eat food directed, indicated and medicated for cats, it is extremely important to take this into account because cats get intoxicated very easily. Tip number 4, it is important to keep them away from plants or some gardening things because for them it is super toxic, the plants and things that are used for gardening. We have to keep in mind that cats have a kidney and liver a little less complex than ours, and that way, they can get intoxicated much easier. And the last tip is please never medicate your cat at home, it can put its life and integrity at risk. With this I say goodbye, I leave you a hug. I invite you to visit us on our social networks, on Facebook, Instagram, and here in the clinic we will always be ready to assist you.